Shortly, we will hear the result of this amazingly prestigious award. But before we do, earlier I was lucky enough to have the chance to speak to the people who conceived and designed the whole transformation programme, which has been the cause of this culture change. Alexandra Bodhi-Tunji, Penny Hazel, Mike Smith and Cassius Powell. And here's what they had to say about just how they did it and what exactly they wanted to achieve. What did you do to make the programme different?
Thank you, Buzz. To be honest, actually, this started back in 2013. I remember publicly the MD making a public statement about managing change differently and wanting to involve staff around how we do that. So one of the great things we started back in 2013 was a series of engagement workshops called Every Journey Matters. And through those workshops, we were able to identify 4 key things that staff felt were really important that we needed to focus on when developing staff to make sure that these changes were successful. Actually, it was quite an interesting experience speaking directly to members of staff, because the reality of it was they actually were able to identify all the core things that we weren't doing. And they helped us in understanding actually what we were very good at, that we therefore didn't need to focus on. As a result of that, we were able to identify the fact that we needed to train and develop our managers to improve the consistency and quality of people management. We're also able to identify the fact that staff wanted training in customer services and ticketing in order to improve their confidence around how we provided ticketing products to our customers. One of the key things that actually most of them talked about was the fact that they wanted to be empowered and they wanted to be trusted to make decisions around where they would stand or where they should be when providing services to customers. And the biggest bone of contention for them was the fact that at that point in time, our leaders and managers were not role modelling excellent customer services. So that was a great start in terms of gathering requirements. We were able to use that, as well as actually take some research from what our customers were telling us at the time of things that were important to them if you really wanted to improve the overall customer experience. And we were able to work with staff and managers alike to put together a set of requirements that really defined what we needed to do differently and why training and development needed to be different to anything we've ever done before in London Underground. And I think at the time it was actually quite interesting because I thought that was a tall order. At the time it was actually very interesting to identify and understand how we were going to deliver that. What staff said to us was that they needed to be involved in how we designed the training program or the development program. And as a result of that, we've got staff at every single level in the organisation. So we have CSAs, we had supervisors, we had managers alike, all the way up to directors, actually working collectively together with our partners to design a fit-for-purpose and bespoke program that was relevant to the Underground. And what staff were very passionate about was the fact that there needed to be a consistent platform for the customer experience, given the fact that we had some inconsistencies and patchy best practice in customer services, but we also knew that there was areas where we needed to improve significantly. And as a result of that, you had staff from trains, service control, stations and maintenance further on who worked collectively together to come up with a customer value proposition, which was what staff described as our aspiration around world-class customer services. And today is a great testament of that. We're glad to be here today at the award ceremony, celebrating the success of what everybody within the Underground worked with us in creating. And for us, this is actually one of the best programs we've delivered in the history of the Underground.
Why was it so important that the programme was different?
Well, you know, over the years, we tried lots of different ways to improve customer service. And on the whole, we'd been successful. But what we always tried to do was to improve customer service by doing things the same way. And we sort of reached a plateau. We couldn't get any further. If you look back then, we were getting new trains, we were getting new signalling systems. So the physical things that we could give our customers were so much better. what we needed to do is to make sure that they got a really, really good customer experience from our staff. That's why changing the way that we did things and bringing in making every journey matter was essential. That's the only way that we could really strive to reach a world-class customer service.
What did it require of all the participants to make it a success?
That's an interesting question. Well, first and foremost, it required a great deal of commitment across all the levels throughout the organisation to effect the change, because the way the change was being delivered required involvement and participation from everyone. So from my perspective, I had to sort of get around to the idea of releasing members of my team, from the customer service assistants right up to my admin and duty managers, and myself as well, to attend workshops that tended to run for minimum for about a day's length. So we had to do a lot of commitment to time. In my environment, obviously that sometimes costs money, but we had to commit to achieving that. And staff really enjoyed being part of shaping the future for the organisation, in the way that making every journey matter has evolved. So yeah, it was quite useful to involve everyone.
When you started all those years ago, back in 2013, what was your vision?
Our vision was around transformation. Gosh, it seems a long time ago now, but what we were looking at then was real challenges about growth in numbers. We were seeing the improvement of the upgrades. We were looking forward to Crossrail and the subsurface signalling system being completely renewed. And we knew that we were going to have to do something quite different to deal with all those increases in customers right across the network. So it was all about transformation, and particularly around transformation of our customer service provision. And for that meant changing everything. That meant completely changing the way that we evaluated and recruited people. It meant changing the way that we got our leaders to manage people. It meant changing absolutely everything in between that as well. And it's about changing all those processes, changing the way that people behave, changing the way that people acted, that's seen a real transformation delivered in the way that we provide customer service.
Welcome back. What's this? Yeah, I've just been told that the award for the best customer service team is about to be announced.
And the winner of the Best Customer Service Team 2018 goes to Jerry, Joy, Chantal and Carter.
That really is incredible. Here we have a team who, most people's estimation, a few years ago weren't doing very well at all, and just look at what they have achieved. It just goes to show what can be achieved when people get together behind a shared vision. Team, congratulations. Can I grab you for a moment? Tell me, what was the reason for your success? Just how did you manage to effect such a transformation?
I trust her to make her own great decisions.
I trust her to make her own great decisions, and for him to back the great decisions that I've made.
I trust her to back the great decisions I make, and for him to make some great decisions too.
I trust the decisions I make every time a customer needs me will be backed by her, and him.
Oh wow, it's Buzzword. Oh, hello again. Thanks for your help the other day with my elderly mum. It made such a difference to my day.
Oh, you're welcome. It really was a pleasure.
Thanks to all of you. Oh, I'm sorry I'm interrupting. What were you saying?
I respect her because every time I do something good, she notices and says thank you.
I respect him because I see him every day doing what he can to help the customer. I respect her because if I'm struggling with something, she helps me. And when I'm doing well, she notices and says thank you.
I respect her because she does a great job valuing and inspiring the team to succeed. And I respect him because he lets me get on with things, but always notices when I've done a good job and says thank you.
I respect her, and him because they do a good job. Sometimes they even thank me.
Well, I don't know what you've done, but the bottom line is... Oh, which camera are we on? You're doing a great job, so thank you all.
I think I'm going to cry.